Hello and welcome back to MFFS Calclavia. So as you can see here, I was just messing around and I unfortunately did this, but it's kind of useful that I've done that because I've actually done that several times before already. So this time I'm not going to do it, basically. So what I wanted to be focused on is it kind of defining the translation modules and the scale modules. Alright, so I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to put the frequency to 1, give it some energy. So what we've got here is we're going to be using the cube for this. Now what I actually did here is I put in a load of translation modules in. This is why this kind of messed up. I put a load of translation modules in here, and then I put just one scale module in here, and then what it did is it created this small box which I can't get into. So from that, what we can basically say is it's far better to actually put these scale modules in first. So let's do that. Just put a load of scale modules in first, because that way at least we know we're going to have a big enough sort of space to do what we want to do. So if we put in, say, 5 scale modules, we're going to get a larger cube, and that's going to be completely around us. Okay. So now we should be completely fine, as you can see. And of course I'll put in some speed modules as well, just to keep things moving smoothly. So yeah, so I'll put in some speed modules as well. I'm just going to update it nicely. Okay, so what we want to do then is, say we want to just move one of these faces further. So I'm going to just make this a little smaller. Yeah. Okay, but what we want to move one of the faces further. Well, the way we do that is we use the local settings for the scale. Okay, so if we want to move, let's get 7 so we can see this pronounced. And we can see that this side has gone mild because it's in the north face there. So we can see that's gone a long way there. If we want to then put it on the south, let's try and see what happens when we put it on the south. This way it's gone much further now. So there's the south. And let's just look at the orientation. So this is north. So yeah. So yeah, if we put the north face, yeah, put the north face in front. Yeah, so this is the way we should be looking at it. So north face. Then I suppose let's just see if the east face is going to work how I expect it to. No, it didn't. That's interesting. Not hugely unexpected. Those sort of things often do happen. But as you can see, when we move this scale module around, we can also move it up. So if we want to put it up, let's try up. You can see we've got a much larger area above us there, volume above us even. So that's a scale module. Now if we want to actually move it across and actually get outside of the make it so it's not actually here, what we need to use is the translation module, which, like I say, is the one which is most likely to make it impossible to do anything. So it's more difficult to use. With the scale module you tend to be alright as long as you put in enough. If you put in one scale module then it's not so good. Translation module now. So let's do something fairly safe. Let's see what happens if we put in font 7 here. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So you can see it's still got the same height there. but the whole thing has been moved up. And what's the difference between that and this? This is quite interesting actually. So when we put it in here, the whole cube gets moved up. When we put it in here, it just simply translates the field. I don't really want to take the scale module out. I'm going to do it. It's an interesting result, isn't it? No. Uh-oh. Let's see what happens with 14 of them. I think I just bugged it out. I don't think you should really put the translation in there. I'm going to end up getting stuck again, I think. This is fucking confusing. Let me just do this again. So if we put the scale module in there, I mean that's the only one, that's the one that makes most sense. What if we put the scale module up here? So I put it in the so that's the front. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. Because we know for a fact that without anything in it, with nothing in it, it tends to just have either one block or nothing sometimes. But by putting 4 scale modules, so this way we can almost make some kind of bridge, can't we? So if I put in a huge number of scale modules, we're making something resembling a bridge. Well, in fact, it is just a bridge. What if we wanted to make that bridge too wide? Well, I think it's left that we need to put it in. So let's try... Well, it doesn't actually make any difference. Let's try putting a few more scale modules here. Let's put it in the left slot. There we go. That's what I was hoping for. So we've got a nice bridge there. So that's pretty cool. You can see we're still at the origin though. So this is still the cornerstone of where everything begins. So remember, kind of left is right here. So which is a bit confusing, but not that confusing. So we move forward several blocks in the front, and then we move as well 4 blocks. So that's the way of getting the scale. Now what I want to do is I just want to shift this whole bridge across by 1, so how are we going to do that? So this should be an interesting task. So my feeling is that I would want to put in a translation module here to do that, but it may be wrong. But it's not wrong. It's completely correct, in fact. Cool. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Interesting. But what will happen? That's the thing. What happens if you put a translation module here, though? Let's just put 1 in, and hopefully nothing too bad will happen. See, nothing actually seemed to happen there. And this is probably where the confusion comes in. Because when you put translation modules in the left-hand side, nothing actually fucking happens. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to do anything. If I put more in. Unless this bridge is getting shorter. I think maybe it is. Was it? No, maybe it's not. No, I don't think. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't seem like putting translation modules in the general tab does anything. It just seems when you put it in the focus tab, then it's the only way it actually does anything. You see, if I put another one in here, it's going to move it even. It's going to move slightly further away. That actually does something. So yeah. So in general, it doesn't seem to be a good idea to put translation modules in this this side here. But the scale modules are fine to do that with. But what can we put in the general tab? Well, we could try putting a scale module in there. Because we've established that we don't really want to put in translation here, so we'll just put in a scale and see what happens there. Interesting. Let's take that out again. So wait a minute. I'm just trying to tell the difference. So this is the edge of it there, and this is the edge of it here. And then once we put in one of the scale modules, yeah, there's no gap now, and it extends one further. So basically, we're seeing it's going to extend on both sides. In fact, it's going to extend on all four sides, isn't it? So once we put a scale, we're going to have a second layer to the bridge on top, a second layer to the bridge below, and also another layer on both the left and right hand side. So it does make a big difference. So for kind of precise work, it's not very useful to use that at all. So in general, it seems that basically the left-hand side is for more probably for larger scale projects, I guess. For anything smaller scale, where you just want to get a precise sort of thing here. And yeah, it's best just to use speed modules in the general section on the left, and then in the right hand side it's best to use the scale and translation modules. So yeah, so that's all I really want to talk about here, just to try to kind of clear things up. I think I have kind of cleared things up. Certainly I'm certainly happy that, you know, I know how to make this bridge, for instance, and I can make a decent sized bridge as well, so I could easily just, you know, it's quite cool to be able to just do that and just have this huge bridge over here, and, you know, I can just go straight across the water if I wanted to, which is cool, really. But that's all I really want to talk about for this particular episode. So yeah, so until next time, thanks for watching.